All right, so I'm so excited. So we are kicking this, KW Milspo introduction off, and I'm excited to be doing it with Stephanie Rivera. Stephanie, you have been patient with me as I kind of battled some things. I battled computer issues, and I battled some crazy like health stuff, which hasn't been that bad, but it's been a journey. So excited that we're talking now finally, and get to share your journey. Right. So Stephanie, you're co-founder? Are you co-leading the Legacy Realty
Yeah,
Network? Or yeah, okay, because you have
all
a
sounds
partner in this.
good.
Yeah, yeah. And so what I want to kind of do and what we're going to jump through is talk about what your journey to becoming a realtor looks like. Like, how did you get here? Right? What made you choose real estate?
It's a good question. I think real estate might have chosen me.
Could be.
Yeah, so I'll go back a little bit. That'll probably help bring the story forward because I've had a different route into real estate than I think a lot of people who got started in the industry. My husband and I were married really young, typical military couple. And in that process, the first 2 years, he was an E3. And so we didn't have any money. And he was like, that's cool. Don't worry. We can live in a trailer. And I was like, no, I don't think so. We're going to figure this out. So in that process, I was working to get my college degree and originally started in the medical field and then quickly learned as a military spouse that was not possible at least 20 years ago as we moved around the country.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It's a little bit better sometimes now, but yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah, sure. I quickly was told by Fleet and Family Services probably not the best option.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, we're not going to do a trailer, so I'll get a degree in finance. Let me learn about money and I'll understand that so we can fix this.
There you go.
And we decided we wanted to buy a house and we didn't have any debt. We had great credit. I was saving money as I worked and he moved up a little bit. And we walked into a house that I thought this could work. And the agent looked at us and said, you're just too young. Yeah, so
wild, like people say, isn't it?
Very surprising. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm doing my degree in finance. I know stocks. I'll invest in the stock market. So we did that. And we moved around. We did 5 PCS moves in 5 years. Came to San Diego and spent a year renting a property, paid $24,000, which is cheap now, in someone else's mortgage, paying their rent, and said, we're not doing this. Let's go buy a house. And that was in 2008. So we bought a house, did not use our VA loan. We were told that was not the loan to use. 80-20, interest only, balloon payment. We'll refinance is what they said.
All the good mortgage options in 2008.
Yes. And I was working in banking and I had friends who were in lending and they were like, no, you're good.
Because all the people in lending were saying, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's that picture of everything on fire. It's fine.
Yep. So we did that. 2009, the market crashed. My husband decided to leave the military. We had our first kid. He wanted to be a dad and not be deployed on submarines. And I said, cool, we'll figure all this out. This will be great. And yeah. And at that time I worked in banking and we had our son and I said, I just don't think I can go back to work. I stayed home for 18 months and drove everybody crazy. And they said, go find a job. And at that point, I had finished my MBA. I had a degree in finance. I had worked in the banking world, coaching businesses on how to build solid financial businesses, especially through 2008 and 9. Mm-hmm. And so when I was applying for jobs, I saw an accounting job and I applied and I walked into a Keller Williams office and they said, congrats, you're an assistant MCA.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I got started.
That is a very interesting path, to be honest with you. That's pretty interesting. I was actually the DOFI for New Market Center. That was my introduction to real estate in KW. So
I think that's the best spot though, because you get to hear all the stories, you learn from everybody. Yeah. And in the process, I was asked to help open a market center. So I launched a market center. The operating partner came to me and said, will you help me do this? And started coaching the agents on how to build businesses and got my license, more so to just understand more of the business. And through that process, my husband and I started educating our friends on real estate because we, at that time, sold our condo. We had hung on to it through the market crash, bought what we thought was a forever home, and started investing in real estate. And our friends came and said, will you help us? And so kind of organically we started. And I would say about 3 years into my license and working with the market center, we launched our real estate team. And my business partner was actually my operating partner's wife. We transitioned into that. Jen and I have worked side by side together for now 10 plus years. And so that's how we got into real estate. So our first year real estate, we had already kind of had an engine rolling, just haphazardly through educating. We had taught a few seminars on base, completely unbranded, completely just let's pour into our military community. And we still teach to this day. That's what we love doing. And we love educating on investing in real estate. And actually 3 years into it, we launched our property management brokerage as well. So
I mean, look at what can happen when you come from contribution, right?
Yeah.
When you aren't salesy and instead you're informing and you're educating and you're bringing that value to people, they find you valuable, right?
Yeah.
Like and that's all we really want at the end of the day, right? Like that's the win, is for, the consumer to say, you are so valuable to me that I need you in my world for this particular purpose and maybe more.
Yeah.
But that's what you created, right? That's so
We do. We love it. Education is the foundation. I just had one of our military members who's getting out of the military after 21 years in service just shadowed me on a property management appointment. And he goes, "You never once sold anything." I was like, "You're right. My goal was to make sure that they, had the property vested correctly for the family, that they had an umbrella policy, fully insured. Like, let's talk about your asset and how to protect that and create generational wealth." And like you said, when you come from contribution, I mean, I want to see them succeed. That's why we do what we do every day. I don't want to see that person with the 80/20 loan, interest only, balloon payment, trying to figure stuff out. How can we help educate? I want to take that E3, E4 and say, let's get you your first home. Let's start building wealth. So kind of took what we learned and we love what we do.
You know what's so funny is how many of us have, and this is not to pick on anybody, right? But how many of us have these initial stories, and I have one too, of you're too young, or don't use your VA loan, or name something, right? Where it's just like now, as an agent yourself, you're like, what? That would never be a thing for me, right? Like it's so interesting to me. And I think, one of the things I love so much about like our military spouse group and our military community as a whole is we do so much better, because I think we come from that community aspect and we come from that caring level. And that's what I'm hearing from you, right? Like you're really coming from a place of caring and a place of really wanting to, to help these folks, that generational wealth, which, I love as just as much. And I think it's so brilliant. But so the side effect, right? What's the side effect? Success, a successful real estate business, right? Without having to feel, you know, like, always be closing, right?
No,
Like,
and we wake up every day excited to do what we get to do. I mean, it's the question of the day isn't how many homes you sold, it's how many lives did you impact?
yeah, that's
So
all.
we love that. I mean, we've got an acronym for our team. It's ACE, and it's advocate, connect, and empower. And if we can do that for all of our clients, we win.
That's so good. I'm writing that down. I hope everybody else writes that down. Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I love that question of how many people did you impact, right? Like what a powerful way. And not only that, when we think about it from a team leadership standpoint, now you're casting that vision to your team every single day, right? And so everybody's buying into that all the time. And I think it's fantastic. I love it. I love it. So talk to me a little bit about what the team looks like now. Like what is the dynamic of it, and how many agents and all of that, and the property management side of it?
We're small but mighty. So it's myself and my business partner, Jennifer, and her husband's also licensed, works on the team in more of a coaching capacity. And then my husband, who still is on the base, but also is licensed. So he does his day stuff and then he comes home and does real estate more than 40 hours a week. So we keep him busy. Works. He enjoys it. It does. We had an operations manager. She just stepped out. So we're hiring for an operations manager and our client care team. So right now it's the four of us. We have a Hawaii satellite agent and then a Temecula showing referral agent as well. Nice. And we launched SkillBridge, in November. So we've got SkillBridge on both the businesses as well. So I think we've always liked the systems, the smaller mindset, the let's work together to achieve great results. Yeah. So we're in the growth stage right now.
Yeah. I can 100% relate to that. We've always been small but mighty as well. And, we launched SkillBridge last year as well. And so it's like, whew, we're seeing that growth stuff or coming up on that growth stuff. So that's awesome. But I love that your focus is on crafting this continual message of advocating, the connecting, and the empowering people. Because I look at, my mission has always been to help others build, lives without limit. And it's and that's how you do that, right? Like you're teaching them and you're giving them the tools to do that.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So what made you want to get into property management? Because that's one thing I got to know, because I'm sitting here, like yesterday I walked out of my office and I just into my office and I said to my team, I was like, who wants to start a property management company? Because I get so frustrated and so flustered all the time. But it does seem like a lot of work to me. So what
Yeah.
is it just the nature of your market there?
It really came from our clients. So our clients came to us. That first 3 years of working in the business, our clients said, okay, you taught us to buy and hold to create long-term wealth. It's a standing market. We don't cash flow on day one. You build long-term wealth through appreciation. You will cash flow because rent continues to go up. That long-term mindset. I said, okay, so now we're here, we're deploying, we have orders. Will you manage our property? I said, sure, let's figure this one out. So we launched the property management business. We are still a very small hands-on boutique property management company. And we treat our properties like they're our own. So I have our own rental properties. We're very hands-on. We do 6-month inspections. We know all of our tenants. We know all of our owners. So I think we did it out of a passion for our clients. We've grown very organically. Don't do a lot of advertising at this time. It's just really word of mouth and referral basis. And we enjoy it. It's a lot of work when you ask that question.
Right.
And on the flip side, when we get to see the impact daily for our owners and for our tenants too, and know that we're taking care of the homes, I do pride ourselves on that. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And so, we don't have enough housing in San Diego, and we get to provide good homes for people who need it and help our military members and our owners build this long-term wealth. So that's huge. That's the why.
Yeah. I mean, that gives me really good food for thought, right? Like, because as somebody who also wants to make sure I'm taking care of people, and as I get frustrated sometimes with the property management side of things, and although, caveat, I don't do it, so I don't know how hard it is other than my own properties, right? And even that sometimes I'm like, so I find that really interesting. So I may be picking your brain on that here soon. Right.
By all means,
I'm kind of for the same purposes, right? Like we look at the buy and hold aspect. I was talking earlier on our mastermind about, you're not going to come in here and cash flow $600-700 a month in most cases. I mean, there's the unicorns. There's always the unicorn. And so, we also teach the buy and hold aspect of it. It's my favorite thing. And so I think for that same purpose, we may have to suck it up and rethink things. So we'll see. If I open a property management company stuff, I'm going to blame you.
That's what it is. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay. Well, we want to keep this short because we want people to actually watch it, right? So what I would love to hear is one piece of advice you would give to any real estate agent, right? Like, what's the one thing that you hope real estate agents know or do just to improve their lives or improve those who they work with lives?
That's a good question.
Right. Yeah.
I have to pick one.
Have to be a new agent. Well, you can pick more than one, by all means.
I mean, I think the first thing that stands out is who you surround yourself with matters. I think that's crucial. You have to build a team, and the team doesn't have to be agent's team. You can be an independent agent, but your lending team, your broker, the people that you are around with, that you mastermind with, similar to the masterminds that we're in, that helps raise your lid and give back to your clients. And then I would say, coming from contribution, we are completely a referral-based, word-of-mouth team. We love our clients. We educate. That's who we are. I know there's all different ways to do it, but I think as long as you're coming from contribution, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to succeed.
Yeah, 100. I can't agree more with both of those. And definitely number one, when I first came into the business, I didn't know what I was doing. So, it was like, I'm going to hang out with these people. And then I realized that those people probably weren't the people that I should surround myself with, so then I kind of shifted to say, where are the people that are actually building things and doing things that I wanted? So I think you're right. Like, build your team, and dig in deep on what that team looks like, and be sure you're surrounding yourself with people, right, that are moving forward and want big things. But also too, coming from contribution is like the scarcity mindset I think sometimes we get, right? Because it, as much as we want to, it's still a sales role, right?
Yeah.
We still are all working on commission at the end
Yep.
of the day for now. Like, let's see, I don't know what's happening. Like, right? Like, we're all still working for commission, right? But when you just ignore that and lose that commission breath, and you come from contribution and you get into your market center and connect, and then you get into the masterminds like you and I are in, and connect with people, what a difference. Your world looks different. It's so
Yep.
cool. It's so cool. Like, I did a lot of, like you, military spouse, right? Like, moved all over, had a lot of jobs, and was in a lot of industries. And as frustrating as this one can be, it's also the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because I get to connect with people like you, right? Like, we can like finally meet in person in Anaheim,
Yes.
or, next week I'll be in Fort Lauderdale with some of the top leaders in real estate, and it's like, how lucky am I? Like, how cool is that?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
yeah, it's awesome. Well, Steph, thank you so much for jumping on with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
And I'm
Erin.
excited that everybody else gets to know more about you and your super cool journey into real estate and the very, very cool things you're doing. So
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
love it. Thank you.
Bye.